Good day, everyone. I just wanted to come on here and show you what I recorded on my way home from work about a week ago. And it is a change in weather that came upon us very quickly. And if you look at how the weather is now, you would not believe that a few hours later, it was sunnier skies, a lot warmer weather. It felt like spring going into summer. This snow pattern came on us unexpectedly to the point that we even left work early so that we could arrive home safely. A few hours before, the day before, we were kind of watching the weather because we were getting alerts, but we couldn't believe that one day we were going to have this type of weather, snow, and the next day it would be almost 20 degrees Celsius. That's right, 20 degrees Celsius. So one day it was below zero and snowing and freezing rain, and the next day it was somewhat tropical. Expect the unexpected. And in life, things just like this happen. Something is thrown at you and you just don't expect it. And sometimes it's hard to see how you're going to navigate through this sudden change. And of course, it seems impossible to get through. I was worried and a little stressed because I don't like driving in this weather. And I was stressing at work for a good 2 hours when I saw it starting to snow. But luckily, the managers and everyone put our safety first and sent us home early enough so we can beat a lot of the traffic and get ahead of this weather. And even driving through this, it was building up minute by minute very quickly. And all I wanted to do was get through it and get home. So I set out with prayers and I put a timer on to say, I should be home in about 20 minutes. Of course, a little bit longer because you have to drive extra slow and extra careful in this type of weather. As I set out to drive on the main roads, I realized it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was bad, but not as bad as I thought. I've driven in snow before and I've not liked it. Even with snow tires, you're slipping and sliding and the road conditions are very dangerous. But on this day, somehow or some way, that wasn't the case. The roads weren't that hard to manage. And the more I drove and the closer I got to home, I felt a little bit safer. And even contemplated making a pit stop at the store to get something, but decided not to and carried on home. So sometimes in life, things, again, are thrown at you unexpectedly. You have to just try to go through it and see what you can manage and what you can't manage. And sometimes situations happen that you think you can't get through, but once you put thought into it, weigh all your options, it's not as bad as it looks. The tasks ahead aren't as bad as it seems. My options here was to leave my car at work and Uber it to home and back into work, or try to safely and slowly drive home. And like I said, the more I got onto the road was the more comfortable I was and noticed that it wasn't as bad as I thought. If I had not tried to get onto the road, then I would not have known that it wouldn't have taken me any more time than it usually does on a regular day. Moments arrive unannounced and uninvited. One day everything is steady. The next you're caught in the chaos, and this was chaotic. Sometimes it feels unfair. Sometimes it feels overwhelming. And you question everything, basically. Like, why is this happening to me at this time? Why is this happening today? Why now? Why this? And what am I supposed to do? And the hardest part sometimes is that you can't always see a way out. You're just in it. You can't see a way out. But here's what I've learned to see, and what is truth is that we forget that in the middle of a storm, every single one has an end. It does end. If you notice, when it snows, there's a somewhat of a stillness. Everything seems very quiet, very peaceful, and very slow. Sometimes in life we resist that stillness. We fight it, but sometimes we are meant to pause. To sit in the storm, to learn something about ourselves in the quiet. Because not all growth happens in the sunshine. Some of the most powerful shifts, the real transformation, happens in the cold and in the dark. The storm doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal something, to break something loose, to wake something up inside of you. And just like that, it suddenly comes to an end. The snow will stop falling. The sky lightens up a little bit. The clouds begin to break. The sun rays try to find their way through those clouds. The temperature rises. Ice and snow begins to melt. And everything that was frozen begins to soften. That is the part we live for, the moment after the storm. When clarity returns and the moment feels possible again. And hey, guess what? You are still standing and you're stronger than before. What you thought was impossible is possible. You got through it. And tomorrow the sun will be out. The sky is impossibly blue and bright. And the snow sparkles, if any left, like glitter. And you recognize its beauty. So the funny thing is that something that felt so heavy, you can now look at it as so peaceful and meaningful. And that's the beauty about it. And that's life. Hardships, once passed through, can leave behind a strange kind of grace. You don't forget the storm. You always remember it. But you see it differently now. It may have taught you something like patience, maybe faith, maybe the strength you didn't know that you had, determination. And here's the best part. It gave way to a new day, a better one. So we go through these cycles: storm, sun, setbacks, comebacks, breakthroughs. And once we make it through enough storms, you stop fearing them in the same way. Because you now know they end. You know they are not fragile. You are not broken. You are resilient. You've walked through the cold and made it to the other side. And that means you can do it again if you have to. So here it is. If today feels heavy, and if you're in the middle of your own storm, hold on. Breathe. Slow down. Know that this moment, this snow, is not forever. The sun is still out there, waiting, rising, and it's coming for you, because no storm lasts forever. Thank you so much to taking this journey from work to home through the storm. I'll see you on the other side. Take care, my friends.